Okay, everybody, and some people were asking about some of the powers for the wizard here that do the little balls around you. Okay, see this here? I think it's this one here. It's called Arcane Orbit, which is passive. After striking enemies with the Arcane Orb, which is over here, okay, you create 4 orbital projectiles that explode on a hit. Now, the reason why you're seeing double, okay, goes back to one of the items that I'm wearing. I forget which one. Which one was it? One of these items in the beer set doubles them up. I gotta keep looking here. I can't remember. What's probably coming. Might be. Oh, yeah, one of these things doubles it up, or it might be even devotion thing. Devotion. Maybe it's not. I don't think it is. I forget which one is doing that. Let's have a look here. Something else good. Now, see, the reason I didn't take this as a point is because I want those orbs. See, the orb will hit something, right? And then it fires again, right? But if it's going through things, it takes time for where the distance of you to where you have your mouse and it shoots to. So you can actually kill things quicker if you don't take that. And it would actually be far probably more, cool. Plus it shrinks the radius of the, see there, the minus 1.5 meter radius, right? While it does do more damage in some cases, the point being here is that, let's see, up to 8 orbs can be active at a time. Right? And I put, oh, there it is there. The Celestial Power, Arcane Orbit, right? There it is there. It does 2 meter. I wonder why that's not activated. 100% on attack. It hasn't done any damage. Oh, okay, because it doesn't get any love. That's weird. It should. It is level 20. That's why. Yeah. So at level 0, it does the damage at the bottom, and look at what it does above there. See, that's what's crazy. Is while you're running around, something comes around and tries to hit you from the side. One of those things hits you, and then I got thinking what would be a killer class would be Demon Hunter with the chakras, which kind of, as I watched the roommate play, they kind of are behind him as he runs. And then these things keep spinning around, which might get things to the side yet. The combination there might be another killer little class. See, the biggest issue I have with the Diablo 2 and 3 parts of this particular version of the Dawn of Masteries mod is there is some little bits of bugginess when it comes to things like the Necromancer and some classes I looked at, where it doesn't work right. And I think they're fixed in a newer version, but as I had a discussion with someone else, they've altered and changed some of the skills in some of the other classes where, if you imagine, guys, you're trying to do as many builds as you can in a short time as possible. You know, and then one guy's going, well, what about SA 100 plus? And I'm like, oh, I've only gone to 15th and that. Okay, so I just went 1 to 66 in it, and I was so burnt out, tired at that point. Belial came out and he just started hitting me, and I didn't reach over quick enough to hit the Archon power, and then he hit me again, and I died. And you lose. I lost 40 levels of whatever progress. But the good news is that, okay, you go back, you do the 25th level, you go to like 40th SA, go out, it'll allow you to make, what was it, 35 to 45, and then you go back in, you can kind of skirt by less than what it can make it. So you can speed it up a little bit doing that. That's another trick here. I don't know what it's like at the higher levels. I haven't gone that way. But like I said, it was getting easy. This class was getting easier and quicker as more of them got tougher. Okay? All I can say is I had to turn Grim Quest off because I have the difficulty up to level 11. And my PC can't handle it. It starts acting up funny, right? I mean, I've got a nice dry, cool room here. It keeps the temperature down around 30 Celsius before I start a video game, which is really nice for a graphics card to start from. And that extra cooling is really good. It takes 5 or 10 degrees off. You're allowed to do a lot extra. But most people's PCs won't be able to do, you know, some of the things I did. I showed some running around, but I haven't showed level 11, which is, you go up to Satanic with this thing. I'll show you. It's still feeling odd because I bet you I got to save it out. Because you got to change a map for it to change, what do you call it, the actual difficulty. You right click here. Okay, I'm going to just show you guys this. Okay?
Hey, do we have any of that?
And you adjust the hero rate and you keep increasing it. Okay? Do that 11 times. Okay? And there's these little stacks of glowing skulls on the ground. And you click on it, and loot flies out of this stuff like insanity. But so do the monsters in areas too. That just, and if you really want to get the loot going, after you do that, so
no problem, man.
It's off right now.
Hey, do we have any of that?
And then you adjust the density. Do that a few times too, and then what that does is it doubles the regular monster spawns, and in some cases the loot, which whoa. I basically only have legendary and sets on, and it's just too much. There's too much going on. I can't aim at something, right? I have to turn off the loot altogether, maybe, you know, and just do a run. But and then just come back for it. And you can turn the loot back on later, right? But holy jeez, it just lags a piss out. There are limits, you know. But it's fun to see that, you know, and this is i5 6-core PC, 16 gigs of memory, DDR4. So I'm like 3 generations back, right, or 4, you know, and still having fun like this, which is good. This is, you know, like I said, there's some value. And I got a 1660 Super, which goes anywhere from 250 Canadian to around 350 Canadian brand new. Yes, you can still get these cards brand new because NVIDIA is actually selling them. It's one of the smart things they're doing because they know that these super expensive cards, nobody's buying this shit. That's why they unlaunched the 4080. That thing is not a 4080, the 4080 12 gigabyte, I should say. It is not a 4080 at all. It's a 4070. And that's not all of it, guys. What none of these other reviewers are talking about is how both AMD and NVIDIA about 4 months ago went back to TSMC and asked to cancel the contracts for last gen's cards because they wanted to bring the next generation's cards. And they didn't want to be stuck with all that inventory. Well, TSMC already made them and was ready to ship them and said, okay, no. We're not going to let you do that, but here's the delay. So this is one of the reasons why this has happened. And I'm going to add, that the reason, and it's a little disingenuous, the reason why I've heard a few reviewers say NVIDIA is pissed at TSMC and they're raising the prices because TSMC did. No, they rose those prices because NVIDIA was raising theirs out of control, okay, because of all the mining going, okay. So TSMC said, "Hey, we're not getting any. We're gonna get a piece of this pie then. If you're gonna be this greedy, okay." I'm almost positive, and listen, I've had Asian people that are over there that are, shall we say, affiliated to them, like my comments because I can almost feel that if Nvidia was to try and AMD would have to compete a little bit more, that maybe they would drop these prices a bit more, okay? And then TSMC, okay, we'll give you a bit better of a deal, right? But that doesn't happen. I mean, $1,200 for a 3070? Are you kidding me? Can you imagine what a PlayStation? Think about it, everybody. That's almost a doubling of the price. Can you imagine going and, and think about that when you get to the 3060s and 3060 Ti's. Okay, imagine them being I don't know, $900. Imagine you going into the store to get your PlayStation or Xbox, and it's 60% more. So instead of $1,000 Canadian, it's $1,600. Well, screw this. I might as well go get a cheap ass NPC and enjoy what games I can. That's the hell with all of you. And that's what's going to happen with the majority of us, right? It's already happening at the developer level where a whole bunch of us that used to have a lot of fun with shit are just said, fuck you to Unreal 5. And I don't know what's going on. I just got some kind of promotion on their forum site stating some obvious bullshit that's going on with stupid bugs that should get fixed, that I could fix. I know I could. I've made software before, and I played with C++ with that. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, but anyway, in good news, I got a nice deal from one of the character modelers at Unreal, and I put a link in one of my other previous things on Twitter or something like that, where I showed some of the things he does, and some of the models that I have of his, right? It's just sort of a nice thing to do because, hey, you're giving me a deal, I'm going to take it, right? And if enough of us were to do something like this for this guy, then he can sit back and get a decent income from it, and he enjoys himself, and we get something for value, and we can bring it back to the rest of you as well. So it's kind of a win for everybody, right? I don't have to wait 6 months to get 6 character models. Okay? Now with that savings, I can get 2 every month rather than just 1. Okay? I get 1 every month with the guy for like $7 Canadian. I mean, they're like $80 or $90 regular. I mean, come on, people. And they're very well done. And I like the fact that this is a little thing that it's going to start to catch on because more and more people are going to be having less money because all this inflation can't keep going forever, and everybody just be okay with that. People stop spending money on entertainment when things are too expensive. So they start looking for value. They start looking for games like Grim Dawn, and that they can play for hundreds and thousands of hours instead of 20-hour video game here, $60. And that's the other thing I get at here. This is why PC Game Pass is great for the base game. But if you got a small SSD as your main drive and a second drive where you install the game, they got a bug. They will try and install that DLC that they'll sell you onto that main drive. And then you run out of hard drive space and everything crashes, right? Why is it only Microsoft, a multi-billion-dollar company, has this problem? Everyone else doesn't have this problem. Okay? I got a suspicion that in order to have run Forza 5 Hot Wheels, they purposely made it so that it would only run on an SSD. So therefore, it looked for the SSD on your hard drive, and whoosh, there you go. Because it did a 14 gigabyte update to where the game was, and then it tried to put 12 more gig on my SSD, which, what is that doing? What is this? You just up, like, I got a refund. They didn't even try to fix it. No questions asked, nothing, right? Fix that shit, Microsoft. You know, there's things in the universe that you can be doing better. And the idea is, okay, go look at Sony crying about Microsoft, and yet charging $100, $102 in Amazon for one of their bloody games. Yeah, Microsoft, 20% off, about 50, 55 bucks. Give me a break. Plus, for the time that game's in there, you get to play for nothing, just for the price of that little game pass. So if something else, so if a bunch of games come in, you get to choose which one you want to buy for the long term, right? Like and I'll say this, I would have bought Forza 5 the next day after I had Hot Wheels, okay? If that DLC didn't work that way, like it had worked properly. That's because I saw that Gears thing where it was the same problem with a DLC, and I thought, well, okay, I'll pre-order this and see how this goes. Because apparently you're allowed to buy the DLC to see what it's like, and then if that worked, I could buy the full game, and then I get to keep both. Even if the service goes down, I get to keep the game. That's how this supposedly works, or something like that, or the game goes out of the Game Pass. Anyhow, I did some other changes to this class. I'll show you. See, it started at 75,000 again, eh? Why did it do that? I'm gonna have to restart this again because okay, there we are. Up to 111,000. Now, part of the reason is, okay, it's where you put some of your celestial powers. Okay? Right? Every time they have an attack, they get a 25% chance to do that listed damage down. Okay? Right? Over here, I have the celestial power elemental seeker. And what this does is in a 1 meter radius, which lives for 3 seconds, is burning presence for 3.8 meters, that's 13 grand damage. This is why when I'm attacking the big guys, they just melt. You've got these guys, each 3 of these guys doing an attack that have 25% chance each attack. So literally, that's popping off every second, right? You have this thing going all the time. And then when I do this, see, 65% on attack. It's not even maxed out yet, right? And in a 14 meter range, okay, this thing summons 5, whatever it is, and it does 10,000 damage with 34% critical damage. It's pretty nasty. This is a really crazy class. Now, I might have said, okay, you might think, well, why do you have magic weapon in here at all? It's because of this ability. Okay, this one right here. 35% to spirit, that adds to damage. The 18% offensive ability increases your ability to do critical damage. And the 25% to skill energy cost means that you don't have to put as many points into here. And what I would suggest, okay, I had to do something stupid here, right here. See this? These 3 silly little things, because I could take 2 points, the last 2 levels, instead of putting in the spirit, and put it onto here, and then I can do this. Now you look at this, it says Skill Rune of Spelldring. This little thing is something that comes from dun, 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 this lovely little gem. Okay? This allows you to put on jewelry, okay, which is normally reserved for these items, these three items here. Okay. Powers, as you can see, like here it says Providence 100%. It has a whole list of them, and they're all based on levels. Well, I went and I put this one on. Okay. It does 860. It adds 869 elemental damage to it. Okay. And 90% to elemental damage. Now, you're asking yourself, well, is that all your powers? Well, no, it's not. I got this new one, right? That's Spelter. It just added 5k. And then I just went and put a point there because 25% chance to do whatever, right? I could put that somewhere else, go with that. And that doesn't even include this sucker. When this comes on, okay, right, watch. 145. Okay, then you can add potions and everything else. I actually got one point was doing 175,000 damage, so there must be something when you actually do things that it trips other stuff off, and you're doing way more damage for times, periods at a time. As you can see, look at my resistances. See how they were way up too, right? Like I'll just flip that again. Check the resistance. Okay, nothing hurt you. You know. The worst thing I've had is a few things of chaos and poison, right? So, anyway, just wanted to show that so that people have a better understanding of what certain things I've done with this class. And I'm going to progress up to the 100th shard level, and then I'm going to fight those bosses, and I'll do a little video if I can get there. It's one of those things where you got to do things over and over and over and over and over again, but it gets easier with this class. I was thinking at the beginning when I was starting out at level 1, going, shit, this isn't going to work very well. I'm going to run out of time. Okay, and what I found was, that wasn't the case. I got to almost 7 or 8 minutes. I was doing things so fast. I just head right to the boss, kill him, get the celestial thing, and take something else. And then I'd have enough time to go looking around for those shrines. I had all 5 shrine powers. And apparently that's an achievement that 0.2% of all the Grim Dawn users have ever had. So this class is a lot better than you think. And I tried taking that Archmage that is completely OP at level 11 or maybe even level 12 of playing in the regular game, and it actually has a hard time doing the shard levels because he doesn't have the resistance levels that this class does. And it's like it depends on how you want to play, right? If you're just playing the game with some friends and you want to play the game more OP and better, excuse me, and you want to play the game better, what you want to do is what the Archmage does. But if you want to go end game and play the sharp stuff, something like this would be kind of cool. And I'm going to try mucking around with the Demon Hunter in this one. I'll try putting the Wizard first, and then just look at Demon Hunter for the chakrams, right? And because in here, I don't really have very much for him going on, right? You know, I just added a point there because when you go ultimate, you do that little quest over here for the guy, and he gives you a skill point. So I dropped it in there. I mean, I can't see where I'd want to put anything else here. You're only the biggest problem I had here was choosing one of these three. I tested them out, and I tried this one, and I thought it would be better, and it isn't, right? You do need some defensive capabilities with this character, which makes it harder for you to get hit. right? And I thought about taking this off, and I thought, well, like this here is good too, right? Maybe I should have put the point there, because then I would have had an extra percent of physical resistance, an extra percent of critical damage, a little bit more aether and elemental resistance, because you'll eventually, like when you go into dungeons and you see those little red things at the top of the map that tell you you're being penalized or stuff, well, you'll have 5 or 6 of those across the screen. So the more extra whatever you got, the better, because it subtracts from the total and then brings it down, right? This trips off. I mean, this, I have, if I get damaged to where I'm at 50% health, I'm in trouble, okay? That's base. I never see that. I get maybe a little whack, about 10%, 20% maybe, that's it. Because if you're getting hit down that far, you know, you're going to have to retreat a lot, right? Which takes time. So I could probably take some points out of here, and what would I do? Well, maybe I would start putting some into this thing, right? It only lasts for a second, but it gives you an extra 400 or 500 health, right? Bang, and then it comes back in another second. It comes back, and so you're really boosted for health, right? Like these things are OP too, right? Put another point in here. Like look at that, doing 12 up to what? See, you put another point in there, he's doing another 1800 lightning damage maximum. That's the maximum. You know, it's, I don't know how it rolls to figure out what's in the middle of it, so it's randomized. They do a good number on creatures too, man. So this is sort of like a, you gotta muck around with it. And this is just basics, right? Something I can toggle that always is there, right? And I'll just show you something. While I'm here, I have to scroll down. Mouse over. Where's these things? Okay. See up here, you get a power. I put that with the arcane orb. Okay, bound to arcane orb. This one has a power. Okay. It's bound to the black hole. Okay. There's another one up here, right here, and that's bound to the army of none. Those are the minions you have. Okay, and I tried this one, but the thing is, I already it only shows up these 2 powers, so it's already used. So I'd have to have a 3rd power, which would mean I need a keyboard. What this game should have had was a middle mouse button area, and then you would have had me using that in the middle, right? So I would have added another power. I don't know if I can key map that. I guess, you know, one way to see would be, you know, options from the interface, you know, key button. I guess I could. So instead of 0, right, you could just middle mouse button. So you could do stuff like that. So that was one thing I liked about Diablo 3, and then they killed that a bit. It's just stupid, some of the things that the company's done with. I hear there, you know, I have the Diablo 2 Resurrected thing, but I don't play it very much because they started messing with, you know, that game too. Like they can't just leave shit alone that's good, you know. That's the problem with these corporations, man. Something's good, don't mess with it. Move on, make something better, you know. Add something extra to it. Give more value. Come on, jeez. People are not as dumb as you freaking people think, you know. And trust me, the second they find something of value that's good and decent to fun, they jump on it. Imagine a game that's almost 25 years old, or 20 years, over 20 years old now. People still play it. I know people that play MUDs, which are text-based, from the 90s. Anyway. Okay, guys, I gotta let you go.